Protesters are once again demonstrating across San Diego County, demanding racial justice and an end to police brutality. But one of today's protests was unlike any demonstration we've seen before. Hundreds of skateboarders taking to the streets against racial inequality. Fox 5's Marilee Moore is live downtown in San Diego with more on this interesting protest. Hi, Marilee.
Hi, Misha, and you're absolutely right. In fact, we saw over 1,000 protesters, and this is something that I've actually never seen before. Over 1,000 skateboarders taking part in a protest. Certainly a new sight for us today, and the message remained consistent with all of the other messages we've heard from the other protests, but embodied in the unity and diversity that you find in the skateboarding community.
This gathering is a Rolling for Rights movement to support and address Black Lives Matter movement, racial injustice, systemic racism, police brutality and murders, George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, and the countless others.
A sight in downtown San Diego Saturday as over 1,000 skateboarders could be seen rolling through the streets.
We're just using our platform to be able to deliver the message of, Black Lives Matter, the systemic racism, injustice, and everything, and it's a beautiful thing, and we're all coming together in the name of love. In the skateboard community, I've received nothing but love, respect, success, and unity, for the most part. All we really care about is board, wheels, and boats. If you're landing correctly.
The Rolling for Rights protest was organized as a way for the skateboard community to come together and speak out against police violence and racial injustice.
I'm honestly just tired of it, so I figure we can all get together, because us skateboarders, we're all different colors and race and black, white, skinny, big. We've all been one unit for a long time, so I think we get together and make this happen.
It began in Balboa Park with participants showing up well before the 1 p.m. start time. Organizers encouraged people to wear masks and said anyone seen agitating police would be asked to leave. However, the event remained peaceful from start to finish.
It's just what we do. We all stick together. We're all as one as the whole world is, and it feels amazing. I mean, I see these these friends and family at skate parks and around, and we get around the city of San Diego, so I'm not surprised, because this is what we do, is show up.
The crowd took a knee as speeches were given. Then at 2 o'clock, the main event began. A sea of skateboarders beginning the journey on 6th Avenue, making their way through downtown to Embarcadero.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials, because the revolution will not be televised.
I'm so over this hate. There's no room for hate. It's easier to love people. I'm tired of crying for weeks on end. I got family back in Wisconsin wondering how I'm doing, and I'm wondering how they're doing. Just the whole world is just upset. So I feel like it's time for change.
Organizers said they wanted to use the diversity of their community to push for that change and to show support for Black lives across the world. We're live in Embarcadero. Marilee Moore, Fox 5
Woods and Steve McQueen, or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner, because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run, or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on the rails with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins rolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion.
I've been a victim of racism, police brutality, injustice on the streets and the courts. I've been silenced by colleagues, friends, associates. They say Don't play the black card. We don't have time. But today, we got time, cuz. I've broken laws. I've let down friends and family members, business partners. I take full responsibility for my actions. And now I'm using my platform to educate and support our brothers and sisters for the greater good. For nobody is perfect. If you feel like you don't understand or you're irritated by this movement or feel some type of way, I feel you. I ask you with love, please educate yourself.
Yes.
Or talk with your brothers and sisters. As skateboarders, we don't let our friends live in pain or displacement. Whether you think it's real or not, we are real. Yeah. You feel me?
Yes.
I'm gonna use a quote. I'm gonna use a quote from one of my favorite movies. We can't be bargained with, we can't be reasoned with, and we absolutely will not stop until justice and equality is met. Trump.
Family is important. History is important. Knowledge is important. And knowing where you come from is necessary if you're going to know where you stand. Knowing your history is necessary if you know where you stand. Understanding the people and the histories around you is necessary if you're going to stand up. There's a narrative out there that the reason why people are taking the streets, the reason why we see uprisings happening all over the United States and solidarity marches and protests happening all over the world is because of the brutal and grotesque murder of George Floyd. It's because of the barbaric and brutal assassination of Breonna Taylor in her own house. And it ignores the daily experience. It ignores the daily harassment. It ignores the daily violence that's perpetrated on young black and brown men, young black and brown women, every day in the communities that we come from. It ignores that because of a color you wear, because of a neighborhood that you live in, because of a neighbor that you talk to, you could be documented as a gang member. And because of being proud of the neighborhood that you live in, they can dehumanize you. They can criminalize your existence. And they can act like you don't matter. We're here to say that we all matter and that Black lives matter. And until we stand up and until we fight to make sure that Black lives matter, nobody's life in this country will ever matter. Every day, young black men and women are hassled and harassed by police. It's the same game now that they do with gang documentation. It's the same game now that they do with skaters. It's the same game that they've been playing ever since they claim that they set black people in this country free. Shout out to my white brothers and sisters. Shout out to my Latino, my Latinx, my Chicano brothers and sisters. Shout out to all you who are standing up. It's funny when people say Black Lives Matter, they say, oh, that's racist. All lives matter. But when people say Blue Lives Matter, don't nobody have a problem with that. If you as a white person and you as a brown person are not just as pissed off and are not just as angry as I am about white supremacy, about racism, about the degradation of any other human being, then you're part of the fucking problem. If your brother, if your mother, if your friend, if your colleagues, if anybody you know is not just as fucking mad about white supremacy and police violence as I am, then there's a fucking problem. We can't continue to be quiet in the face of one of the most brutal and oppressive nations in the world just because we have Starbucks, Netflix, and Amazon.com. If you look at every system, every structure in this country, whether it's healthcare, and you look at the percentage of black infant mortalities, if you look at the percentage of black women who've died due to birth circumstances, then you know that this country doesn't believe that Black Lives Matter. If you look at our education system and you see that it's failing young black men every single day, then you cannot say that this country believes that Black Lives Matter. If you look at the incarceration rates, where today we have more black men who are incarcerated, who are under some form of law enforcement supervision than were enslaved in the mid-1800s before the Civil War, you cannot say that Black Lives Matter in this country. We're tired of it. All of us are tired of it. And we're not going to sit back and allow that to happen anymore, because we'll continue to yell that Black Lives Matter and black liberation will happen. A few weeks ago, the city council had a vote. They had to vote to defund the police. And when we say defund the police, we mean let's take some of the money that's being given to police officers who routinely harass us. Let's take that money and invest it in schools. Amen. Let's take that money and invest it in social workers. Yeah. The other day, they had some cop lady on social media and she was crying. She was crying because she didn't get her Egg McMuffin. Why the fuck would I want that lady to be answering any fucking calls that have to deal with someone having a mental health breakdown? Police in this country, police in San Diego have some of the highest rates of domestic violence. Why the fuck would I want to call a police officer to intervene in a domestic violence case? We need trained professionals. We need mental health professionals. We need educators who are given money so they can actually address the systems of inequality in this country and not put it on the backs of pigs, not put it on the backs of cops, not put it on the backs of white supremacists. We need to take control of this country. The police don't give a shit about you. They don't care about you. They're just a dog that gets sicked on us. You have to hold your elected officials accountable, because your elected officials are the ones who pay those dogs. Yes, sir. Your elected officials are the ones who pay for the tear gas and the rubber bullets that shot Leslie Furcan, a grandmother, a City College student, in the face. That's your tax dollars. So you need to know who your council member is. We have elections coming up in November, and there's a lot of council members who are running. You need to find out who that person is, and you need to ask them, what is your stance when it comes to police brutality? Yeah. The only reason voting isn't revolutionary is if you're not a revolutionary. The only reason voting isn't revolutionary if you're not pushing for revolution. If you don't push for revolution, if you don't hold your elected officials accountable, then you'll continue to be tricked. You'll continue to be hoodwinked. You'll continue to be fooled by the okie doke. We're not having that anymore. I want to lead us in a chant. Tu lucha es mi lucha. Your struggle is my struggle. Tu lucha es mi lucha.
Mi lucha. Your struggle
is my struggle.
Is my struggle.
Your struggle.
Your struggle
is my struggle.
Is my struggle.
Your struggle.
Your struggle
is my struggle.
Is my struggle.